So this is the start of the video to get the FPGA board up and running. This is the first thing you'll need, the standard USB connector, right? And it goes into the board there beside the big red button. And excuse me while I put that in. Okay, so there it is in, and provided everything's powered up, if we press the red button we should get a red power LED happening to see everything's together. So the next USB connector is the USB blaster, and it is the little black box and it has that sort of a connector on it. And we're going to put that into one of these two connectors here. It's upside down, but that says JTAG and this one says AS. Before you do that though, make sure you turn the power off to the board, just in case. And there's a little notch there that we need to organise and line up with the connector, and there we go. And we should now be able to turn it on, and we're ready to program the board. This is just a piece about setting up the driver. The driver should come with quarters. So if you go to the control panel's device manager and then find under Universal Serial Bus Controllers, the Altera one, if there's a little warning symbol here, that means you need to do something. So right click, go to Properties and Driver, and then Update Driver. And I'm just going to browse because I've already done this, right? And it shows you the under the Quartus directory there should be a drivers subdirectory, and just select that drivers subdirectory in the Quartus installation and you should be good. And that's all you need to do to install the driver. At least that's all I needed to do to install the driver. So this is the half adder that we did in Lab 3, and I'm just going to do a simple example of how to deploy this to the FPGA board. And the first thing we've got to do is we've got some inputs and outputs, and we've got to figure out which inputs and outputs on the board itself we need. So if you go to the GitHub repository for 466, on that front page you will see this green patch which shows the I/O, and the things we're interested in are the pin numbers for the keys and the pin numbers for the LEDs. Okay, so take a note of which LEDs and which keys you want to use, and then what we've got to do is we've got to go to Assignments, Pin Planner, and that will bring up this. And initially this location field will not be filled in, so we've got to fill in, and I've decided that the pin 90 and 91 are where A and B go, and the LEDs 85 and 84 are the ones I'm going to be using. So let's just go back and check. What was it? The inputs are 90 and 91 and 85 and 84. So 90 and 91, key 3 and key 4, and where's it gone? 85 and 84 is LED 3 and LED 4. So pin 3 and key 3 and key 4, and LED 3 and LED 4. And what we do is, once we make those assignments with the pin planner, then we can go back here, and if you scroll down to the bottom you should have program device. Now you may, before we get here, you may have to do the hardware setup hardware setup here, and you should select USB blaster. It might say no no hardware to start with. If that's the case, you may have to install the USB driver. I'll show you that in another video. Okay, so I've already got it all set up. I've got the right device. Everything is, in particular start, is not grayed out. So I can just go start, and I'm hoping that that works. It says up here 100% successful, everything's green, and that means I can then play with the buttons, and I'll show you that in another video. I'll have to do an actual video. So here's the board with the half adder deployed to it, and I've got one LED on, so something's strange there. If I press one of the buttons, remember I said button 3 and button 4, then which LED lights up changes. If I press both switches down, we can figure out how to do that, then both LEDs come on. And I think what's happened is our board is set up for active low. So I'll talk about active low in a bit.